does and it doesn't. It's up to them to do what they want to do.
Definitely know how that goes.
Huh?
You definitely know how that goes.
Well, you have people that go in a room for a couple minutes and say nothing happened. I said, well,
It's not like it.
yeah.
Yeah, doesn't work that way.
Yeah, exactly. You need to hang out for 10 to 15 minutes.
Right.
She's moving right now because that thing was on. All right. Now, we're going to come in here to Jacob's room. The video of her, she lifted her legs all the way up. Not just the dress part. All right. This is our store area. It's kind of messy. We have another area for our store in the back that we have to renovate, and it's a huge, big area that's still shut. It's got all my Halloween decorations. And we couldn't squeeze him in there. Sorry, guys. He's not here to scare you. We just couldn't fit him in our storage area. Everything's filled up. Okay, so you can see Nick Groff's signature and all the... We still have more we haven't put up yet. But this is Jacob, if everybody wants to push in. And we could leave that door open if you like this time. That way we might hear him while we're talking. So if you guys want to just stand close to there and pay attention, listen if you hear something while we're in here. So this is the apparition of Jacob Henry Kyle. Now the Kyles are buried in La Queen in Grayford, Texas, and the Yeagers are buried down the road in Elmwood. So this is his apparition looking into the axe room. He was found hanging from a rope swing off of this tree in 1940. He was 8 years old. There is a stump there with a cross on it. Okay, his mother was the prostitute, Sarah Elizabeth Kyle, the good spirit, helping me. So they didn't investigate it. They considered it an accident. We had gotten an EVP from a little boy, we believe was him, that had said that some men had raped him and hung him out there. And he called them Johns. Okay, then we got another EVP from a female that said, Carol, I know you molested Jacob. And then the voice said, prove it. So my husband found his bed upstairs outside the bootleg room. That's where the prostitute sons, they would run the alcohol and do illegal activities for the adults. He found his bed, but the bed was in shambles, but the headboard was intact. So he kept that. He can show that to you later. Has his initials on it. It says, I love Carol. Right? So I did some research. There was a male at the age of 24 years old named Carol Kyle that was here during the time he was murdered. One of his relatives. We noticed that guys between like the ages of 19 and early 20s were getting a little kid's biting on them, right? And it was him acting out. He wanted people to know what happened to him. It wasn't an accident. So that's the one that I was telling one of you that my husband was talking bad to him. Like, you're a sicko, what you did to Jacob. I know what you did. And it got very violent that night with people that were here after he called out Carol for his wrongs. So the bites stopped after those kind of bites, the little kids' bites, stopped after we had shared what we had gotten. I think he was wanting answers. A lot of times spirits scratch you or something, they're wanting help. They're not trying to hurt you.
Right.
But that's the information about him, and he's buried in La Queen with his brother, grandpa, and his mother. All right? So we're going to go in here. This is the room where the girl got yanked off the bed. The nurse is here for a reason. I will explain that to you.
Well, that's nice in here.
She's not turned on. She's here for a specific reason. Okay? She's associated with the room. All right, we can take our mask off now.
Okay.
This bed is an old bed with slats on it. Okay, so if you sit on the edge, it'll collapse. You need to sit in the middle or lay on it. It's a very old bed. Okay. Did you see the video of the girl getting yanked off
Yep.
the bed?
Yes.
Okay, so if someone would have pulled her, this bed would have collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
You could look underneath it. It would have all collapsed. We had that analyzed by Dr. Jim Clausen, a professor out of Vanderbilt University. He worked at Ghost Adventures and David Roundtree. And he analyzed it 500 times, and he said the energy of her getting pulled off the bed was not humanly possible. A human couldn't have pulled someone that fast. So they actually didn't believe the house was haunted. They had been drinking. They thought we overhyped the house, so they were goofing off. And that's one reason why we don't allow drinking, because we don't want people getting hurt. But she was sitting like this, and you could touch the ground. And she was provoking Dr. Yeager. So, I told you earlier about Dr. Yeager, and this being the Yeager family was part of this house as well. What happened was, this used to be a brothel, and James Pilot, he is the author of Gothic Tales of Mineral Wells. I filmed him at the Baker Hotel on a live feed telling the history of this town. He said they rotated prostitutes every 3 months to the train systems. And so there's different people every time. They didn't know who they were. and there was a train right down the road. So usually wherever there's a train, there's a brothel nearby. And then they would take them through the tunnels. Yes, we do have tunnels here. I do know where they are. We have someone coming to excavate them, and we're going to be working on a contract on that. And it's going to be the show that was just here with the Sam Bass. What was that?
You guys heard that, right?
Yeah. Definitely heard that.
As soon as I said Sam Bass,
Yeah.
the show with Sam Bass. Okay, so it's the show with Sam Bass that just filmed. It's going to be coming here to do. They're talking about in August contacting us again about excavating some stuff out here. So we're going to probably give them the opportunity to show where the tunnels are. They are out back, and we don't tell anybody where they are because they, the shows want to be the first ones here. So they would run the prostitutes through the tunnels for the customers of the Baker Hotel. And they would also take their children sometimes and sell them against their will. And so we had a local banker named Benjamin Acker Yeager. And he had gotten one of the prostitutes pregnant. His father was a surgeon. His Cornelius Yeager and Robert Yeager, they were both doctors and surgeons. And so he had one of them come over here and give her the chloroform. She thought she was getting a checkup, and they took the baby against her will. And so we got an EVP in this room that said Benjamin Acker Yeager cut her open and stapled her shut.
Wow.
We also have heard women crying, babies crying, and Dr. Yeager abortion. People have heard that in here. And so that's what happened. The lady was provoking Dr. Yeager, saying, I'm a woman, what are you going to do to me? Come get me. And something sucked her off the bed. An hour later, a man came in here. And so she returned back in September. A year later, did the exact same thing, and had a claw mark scratch sitting right here while she was doing it. And she just looks like, thinks a bug bit her. She had a blood stain this big on her shirt. And we followed all of our cameras to the house to make sure they didn't fake anything. Because we heard someone scratching on the walls earlier, and we came here like, hey, we know y'all are faking stuff. Come on. And it was one of them trying to scare somebody. So it wasn't they were, trying to fake. They were
Right.
trying to scare the friends. So we made sure they weren't faking. That's when we caught the doll lift her legs while we were going through the cameras. But when I shared that picture, her father put on there that she is traumatized by this, that she has lifetime scars, and that she's not going to turn. She was excited when she got yanked off the bed because she'd been drinking. She was like, yeah, I want more. But nobody would come back in the house with her. They were too scared. So that's information about this room. Now, if in our sleeping rooms, we have these little papers you can read later on that gives a little bit of description about the room and how we rate it on haunting. This room can be very violent or it can be very quiet. Depends who's in here and what you're doing. Now, I had woke up one day when I slept in here. We used to have to renovate the house, and we decided to sleep in all the rooms, see what would happen. And my hair was tied in a knot to this pole with my head like this. And I figured one of the kids was doing it because I've had my phone thrown. But many people have heard something bang on the wall. Boom! Boom! Loud. And run outside and nobody's out there. Look at the cameras, no one's out there. And that's happened a lot of times in this room. So anyways, my husband decided to watch Insidious upstairs at midnight. And we rented out the rooms. This is the only room left. I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to go upstairs in the dark and watch Insidious. So I invited a friend over. Her name was Robin. And I said, it's getting late. You ready to go to bed? And I said, let's go sleep in Jacob's room. She goes, is that room safe? I said, yeah, nothing really bad happens in there. Let's go ahead and go in there. So, but I made her sleep on this side. And I didn't tell her what happened to me. And I slept over here. And in the middle of the night, I hear her screaming, Kathy, help! Oh my God! And I just jumped up and ran straight to the couch. And she joined me on the couch. And I said, what's the matter? Did something hurt you? No, it was like braiding my hair. I said, well, why did you wake me up freaking out if nothing was hurting you? I mean, come on, you could have given me a heart attack. I said, that ain't nothing. They tied my hair to the bed. And then she hit me. Why didn't you tell me that? I would have never slept in there. I said, let's go back in. I'll switch sides. I'll switch sides with you. She goes, I'm not going in there. I was having a panic attack. There's something in my ear going. I said, oh, that's Toby. I didn't know he goes in here. And so, but right before the girl got yanked off the bed, they saw Toby up there on their cameras. And they caught him on the thermal imaging. Took a picture of him sitting right there. And that's why they decided, they told the guy, go get your girlfriend. Bring a girl in here. We want a girl to come in here and provoke. So I don't know if it's Dr. Yeager or Toby, but Toby was present when she was in here. And so anyways, we decided to play Bloody Mary one night. And Ryan got the worst room in the house, the axe room, so he chose 2 people. So he decided he was going to call upon Big Papa and Biggie Smalls and Tupac. That's who he was calling on. Robin chose this room. You know, we drew the rooms. And she swore she'd never come in here again. So she had to call on Dr. Yeager 13 times in that mirror. In the dark with a tea light, brand new tea light. On live feed, we're in the kitchen watching her along with everybody on Facebook. We watched this large greenish blue ball go across the mirror. And we hear her say, I can see you. Please don't hurt me. And she's crying. She saw him, not the orb. We saw the orb. She saw him. Then her tea light went dead and her phone went dead. And everybody was texting, Kathy, someone go save Robin. Like on our live feed, people wouldn't even know, save Robin. They knew her name by that time. So we ran back in here and she was in a state of panic and having a panic attack. She won't come in this room now. She's done with this room. We have very, very haunted items in this room. So this nurse is here. Let me tell you why she's here. Live Sci-Fi TV, Tim Wood is got gifts. He was on our empty lot, and he told one of the ladies, he said, go pick up that rock over there. There's something under there. And she lifted up, and that metal bracelet on her hand was there. That was under the rock. Later on that night, while they're on live video, the Baker Hotel security guard comes running up here, knocking on the door, saying he saw a nurse in a 1930s costume. He thought it was someone trying to break into the house. He said, I followed her around the back and she vanished right before my eyes. That was after he found the bracelet. So we brought the bracelet in. We said, who's this belong to? And the EVP said, Jeffrey's mom. So we have a nurse here, you know, like, I don't know, I guess that's 1930s, and the bracelet attached to it. So that's something to investigate. We have this mirror here. I don't really like to talk about it. This was a gift to us for Christmas. It is a very prized haunted mirror. A lot of people in the paranormal world know about this mirror. The man that owned this mirror was a member of the KKK. He was very prejudiced. And when he died, he left it to his daughter. And she had married a black gentleman and had mixed children. And whenever they would go upstairs where this mirror is hanging, they'd get thrown down the stairs. And so the world-renowned psychic Maria Santos was brought to that house to cleanse it of him and remove the mirror that he was attached to, and that's the mirror right there. This item right here, we did a cleansing on a funeral home, and there is his gown, and there right there, Mr. Massey. His gown has a blood stain on it. He died of a brain hemorrhage, and he was attacking the people that worked at the funeral home. It is now an antique shop, but it used to be a funeral home. And when we brought that item here, they said, Mr. Massey's here. So I told him that I was going to take him to a brothel. I said, I want you to get in that box, and I'm going to take you to a brothel. And he said, sure. And I sealed the box and took it here, and we did the K2 meter. It was lighting up, and then after I sealed it and put holy salt around it, it didn't light up anymore.
Wow.
So I knew he was in there, and he wasn't lighting up in the place anymore.
Right.
So I brought it here, and as soon as it came in, Mr. Massey's here. He hadn't really done much, so I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't know. Maybe he went off with one of the ladies. I haven't really heard anything out of him, not a peep. But there's lots of haunted items in this room. Now I'm going to take you to the room on the back porch known as Priscilla Blair's room.
Is this the door handle that got pulled?
Yes. Yes.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And even the screw moved.
Yeah, you saw Jack Osborne defending us on I Want to Believe, and his mom's like, oh, that's rigged. He's like, I assure you it's not rigged. They got cameras everywhere. It's not rigged.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, how did the screw move?
Yeah, how did this, I mean, you literally see the door get pulled like this and the screw move.
What?
Yeah.
Behind
That
me?
was awesome.
How could that
What does it sound
happen unless someone was in here
Exactly.
doing it, you know? All right, so I'm going to turn the light off. We
I
leave
hope
the
my
lights
camera
off in the
pulls.
rooms,
both
you know,
heard it.
so we could see the orbs. You can't see them on our night
We're all
cameras
both
with
just
the
look at
light
each
on.
other.
I'm related to all of the male original Jaegers through cousins.
From this home?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Cornelius.
Yeah.
And Robert?
Abraham, who was Freddie's
You taking that
brother.
brother?
Danny
all
Kyle,
of them.
yeah.
I printed it all
Oh, that's
wrote it down.
amazing. You'll probably
Through
get a
the
lot of
wives.
activity.
Through the
Okay,
wives.
so let me tell
I'm
you.
not related
Right-
for anybody.
Right behind me.
It's like they married, not necessarily cousins,
No,
but
I'm
like
saying a bunch of-
everybody.
bunch of
It's
stuff.
crazy.
So he had
Family
two other
Sarah-
wives. He had
Sarah.
Sarah
Okay,
and
I'm related
Penelope
to
or
Sarah.
something.
I'm
Okay.
related to Sarah, but
Sarah.
I'm not related to Franny. Sarah was before Franny.
So you'll have Sarah protecting you in this home till she's here. Okay, so
Yeah,
let me tell you one thing.
it's crazy.
Who I believe pulled her off the bed. There was a relative named Curtis. And we had a man here talking to him for a good few hours. He said he was a construction worker and that this was his grandparents' house. He said that he helped build the church next door. He said he lost his key and he had been trapped here for 9 years. They talk about a key all the time, that they have to have a key. Taking people's key, that they can't get to the other side without a key. So that was his grandparents, that they were in their bad mouthing. Now, whether back then it wasn't frowned upon if you gave a prostitute abortion. That was customary, you know. And to him, his grandpa wasn't doing anything wrong. He was a doctor. He was a surgeon.
Yeah.
And when people came in here and were bad-mouthing his grandpa, I think he's the one that yanked her off the bed because right after the girls walked out here and that dog lifted her legs, we heard something say, "Curtis is here," and that was his name. So. All right, so we're going to head out here, guys. Priscilla Blair's room. It's a touch light. You can change the color. There's a remote. You can turn it red, blue, green, whatever color you like. All right, so I'll sit over here so you guys can stay over that way and take your masks off again. I'm glad that you're related because there was a paranormal team here a while back, and they said, "Well, her stuff's not really documented." I'm like, "How do you figure? We've been to the cemetery where they're buried." You know, and Jack Osborne on that show, they'd asked Martha. Well, Martha didn't have her paperwork, and I got her on a live feed to admit when she said, "Well, they kind of put me on a spot. She didn't want to look stupid. She didn't have her paperwork." She's like, "Well, we don't really have much information." Well, we hired historians. We have the information. And you know this was the Yeager home, and they're all buried in the Queen. And, the Yeagers are buried in Elmwood. Kyle's are buried in the Queen.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Sarah Elizabeth Kyle. And so, this was Priscilla Blair. We named this Priscilla Blair's room. This used to be a beat-up back porch. There's the shingles at the outside of the house. It was like a lean-to, and all the windows were busted out. There was no sheetrock, and that bathroom was a closet. We actually found like Blair Witch stuff in there made out of wicker, like wood and stuff. Really weird stuff we found in the top shelf of that closet. So anyways, we caught an apparition in here of a prostitute named Priscilla Blair. She's involved in the murder-suicide in the Shadowman room and that sealed-up bathroom that I'll tell you about. So these windows are busted out, only a few of them were intact. So what we did was we took that black plastic that's 3 for $1 at Walmart, and we put it on the windows to keep the rain out here because we were trying to dry up to fix the concrete and all that. So I'm going to go to my gallery. Now, whenever I get a picture of an apparition, I want it to be life-size. I don't zoom in on walls and stains and stuff like that. I expect it to be life-size, and you will see very clearly that this is life-size. And then we have a new haunted object in here that I collect things that are historical that attract me and draw me to them. And so, not because they're going to make my house more haunted. Okay, so, this is her apparition. This is a man right here. That's his leg. This is the window that's intact, and that's the black plastic, okay? She is life-size. You can see her pink lingerie, and she has a bullet hole in her face. Why she's bald, I don't know. She might have had cancer. I don't know why she's bald. But we caught that in here. We were doing a 1930s thing to benefit the women's shelter, and everybody's dressed in 1930s, and I was over there at the camper, and I was taking a picture of him. And that's what showed up, okay? And so we named this room after her. She has been seen in the bathroom along with a little boy in the toilet. She has been seen many times in here and heard in here as well. Her and one of the brothers comes in here, the one they call Curly. And so we'll tell you about them in the next room. That was the murder-suicide couple. So people have seen things sit down on the bed. We used to keep this doll. Her name's Georgina. We used to keep her right here, and something would flip her over all the time. People have heard furniture being dragged above us, and they say it sounds like deer are running across the roof, but there's no room above us. Okay? So this was a beat up old back porch, like I said, and there was a big green industrial sized wheelbarrow right here, and I was sitting over there having a cigarette. We were having the house re-leveled. Something picked that up in the air and chunked it at me. So I ran in screaming. I called Maria. I said, I didn't know they could do this, that they could actually hurt you. I thought that was fake stuff in the movies. What am I supposed to do? She goes, well, what'd you expect? You bought a haunted house. I said, I thought, like on the ghost hunts, I was going to get EVPs and stuff. I didn't know they could hurt me. What am I supposed to do? She goes, I don't know. It's your house. You better figure it out. And so anyways, we were having the house re-leveled. I remembered when we called Phil to come look at the house, he had told us we were the last people he was going to show it to, that he was going to sell to the Baker Hotel and let them level it and make it a parking garage or a parking lot. So they thought that's what we were doing. So we had hired Cornerstone Church of Fort Worth, a Pentecostal preacher. His construction company was doing the work. I hear them screaming that his nose is pouring in blood. And they came running in the house, his nose is bleeding very bad. He didn't believe in ghosts. He was yelling at them saying there's no such thing as ghosts, because that's after this thing got thrown. Yeah. And they were freaking out. He said that when he come around the corner, he heard growling and hissing in the woods and saw a little girl apparition in the living room as he came in. He had told me he had never had a nosebleed in his life. He wasn't rubbing his nose, and this was early May. It wasn't hot, very hot out, and he wasn't dehydrated. So he was pretty freaked out by it. Now, I want you to take a look at the chest over there. That's our newest item. Did any of you guys see the photo of the man that appeared in the mirror, his face, when the young girl was taking a picture of herself in the mirror?
No.
That would be him. So that belonged to a psychopath. His name is Alvin. The paper mache doll is supposed to be an image of him. And the little girl doll was his sister. And she was the prize princess, and he was mistreated. And then the teddy bear is his childhood teddy bear. There is a scrapbook there, and the scrapbook has a human tooth.
I feel like I'm a marionette. Like my legs.
Or
I've
going-
never had that before. I feel crazy right now.
Yeah, this house
Yeah.
can get you dizzy and headache.
I'm feeling like my legs are like marionette legs.
I've had people come in here and start crying, and their daughters are like, or in the kitchen as soon as they got here, the daughters are like, "Why are you crying?"
Yeah,
I've had
that's
women faint at the back door of that hallway before they ever get in the house. They faint.
I was like, this is kind of like, I'm dancing with somebody, but I don't know who.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, a man head first on the table in the scratcher room. His wife told everyone he was overheated. There's no heat in there. It was cold in there.
Yeah.
And she took me outside and said that he felt like he was having a heart attack with something squeezing his heart. He slept outside in the car in 20-degree weather.
Wow.
He refused to come back in the house. All right, so here's the man's face that showed up. So this
Oh,
was,
wow.
I guess,
No denying
right
that.
at the end of December.
Yeah, there's
Um,
no denying that.
So, let me get to the actual photo right here. The young girl, look, this is her shirt right there, right? She was like 17 years old. That's her shirt. That's the man's face. The mother texted me, I shared that on Facebook. Who's this guy? He wasn't part of our party. And so we had just gotten that chest, and that was on the table in front of that mirror, right? So in that scrapbook is a human tooth and drawings of demons. He was not summoning demons, he was trying to get rid of them.
Yeah.
All right? This is a room where the girl I told you the other night said something punched her in the leg.
Okay.
Christopher St. Booth said that's the most darkest haunted object he'd ever owned. And he sold it to us. And that was after I bought it. I bought it because I thought it was cool. It was
Is that
neat
L?
looking. Right there.
Is that L?
L.
The doll L? That's me. L. Yeah, I saw her. Right, her name's L.
No, I don't know anything
Okay.
about her. I don't know her name. His
Oh,
name's
okay.
Alvin.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the man we saw the face of.
Yeah.
So anyways, we didn't have any activity in the house for a couple of days. And Sarah told me it's the psychopath. So I make him stay out here. I don't allow him in the house because other spirits don't like him for some reason. Maybe he has demons attached to him. I don't know. So Christopher has said anybody that captures any evidence on this, it's in that book, The Attached. He is filming the attached part 2.
Okay.
If you capture evidence, it's going to be a part of the attached part 2. You can send it to Christopher St. Booth.
Okay.
All right.
I feel like there's
So we're gonna
something
head
over
out of this room. We're gonna go to the Shadowman room, and then we'll give everyone a
That's it?
quick break.
Stand here. See if you guys feel anything. I feel like there's something
See,
here.
here's the scrapbook, guys.
I feel
Here's the information
the
about it, and then
floor
here's the book
slopes
that
here.
says
It does.
It
faces
slopes.
them.
You're
And
not
then
on.
it's
You're not
human
on an
tooth
even
and-
level.
Wow.
But I will tell you.
And then
this
here's
one.
the
Like,
postcard
see.
from the mental institution.
Feels like I'm standing like this.
Those were
Like
his
my
items
feet
he
are
left
like
after he
this.
died.
Like a fun house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool. It's just an awesome item to have. I'm so excited. So guess what I just bought?
Hi,
It'll be here
guys.
soon. Too bad y'all weren't here. I got Dr. Jekyll's
like,
bag.
I felt like I'd marry
The
Netflix.
real Dr. Jekyll.
I think it's because it's sloped. It's playing.
Yes, it's out of the laboratory in London. His laboratory that he worked at.
Wow.
It's his medicine kit, his hat that looks like a Dr. Jekyll, and his nameplate, and all the information about him, and his glasses. I will have that in a few weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm excited to have that. So it's not because I'm sure it might be haunted. I don't know, but to have
just
something
cool.
that was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Wow.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, so I'm going to take you guys in the Shadowman room. Y'all can gather right here, and then we'll shut that door. I just heard it. Did you hear that? I just heard something. I seriously did. So I'm trying to get my legs back. Okay, so we're about to enter the Shadowman room. We have extra pillows and blankets here. We've had people sleep in their cars or on the front porch. We had a whole family on the front porch. I know you guys aren't scared. The Louisiana Shreveport Fire Department, they all slept underneath the kitchen table when they first came here, and they were going to the bathroom together. Straight guys going to the bathroom together. Scared to death of this house. So I'm going to take one volunteer. I'd like to get, is there anybody that can take their shirt off to where your arms can be exposed?
I have a candy on.
Okay.
I'll try you. Go ahead.
Right now?
Yeah.
Right here?
I just want your arms exposed. Bow, chicken, bow, wow. Sorry. All right, so he's going to go in first, and then I'm going to put him in a specific area where interactions happen. I'm not going to tell you.
So the shirt come all the way off?
Yes,
Oh.
I just want your arms exposed.
No.
Oh.
No, just your arms.
Oh.
Yeah, just roll it up. I want your arms exposed.
All right.
Okay, now you come with me, and then I'll bring you guys in shortly. Cameraman, you can follow.
All right.
This is one of our many portals we have in the house, and I want you to stand in there. And that has our storage, like sheets and costumes if somebody wants to have a wedding or anything or haunted party. I just want you to stand right there where your arms are exposed. I do not want to influence you or tell you anything that happens, okay? But let us know if something does. All right, come on in, guys.
Okay, God, I like.
If you can
Is this
shut...
the passage room?
No.
No, okay.
The room you were sitting in, there's a passage room. All right,
Oh, that
if
one.
you can go and stand by that doll right there, and then I'll have you stand by this bathroom, and then if you'll shut this door, you can stand in front of that door. And just scoot over that way a little bit. I'm gonna come over here, like over back towards there so we can take our masks off. Sorry, I'm trying to separate from all you guys. Okay, so this is our Shadowman room. Some of you are in areas where activity, maybe all of you are, I'm not gonna tell you. But first off, I'm gonna tell you why it's named the Shadowman room. The family that lived here before were involved in the occult. They were into Black Cajun Bayou voodoo. That was the elderly couple that owned the house at the time. And then his, oh, you're like me. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, I'm just sure someone's
Yeah,
shirt's gonna be like that.
I always do that. So, Priscilla Blair actually turned that light on. She does it every night. You have to twist it to turn it on, and she turns it off as well. So keep an eye on that light. If someone tries to go over there and turn it off or turn it on, they've gotten headaches or nausea from touching it. She feels like that's her job to do that. And we've given her that job, and we thank her every night for doing that. So remember when you come in here tomorrow night to look, she turns that on every night for us and turns it off later on. Now, so the family's into Black Cajun Bayou voodoo. The females were into Wicca, and then one of the women had married a man that was a Satanist along with his son. And so anyways, the family had left abruptly on separate occasions, and they were hoarders. The man I bought it from, Phil, had to have an estate sale, and during the estate sale, an elderly woman came running out of this room, and she said, "You're not going to sell anything with that pervert in there. He keeps telling me like this." And he knew that that was Shadowman. Women had seen him outside the driveway doing like that. So he named this Shadowman room. I've seen him in here 3 times. He was up against that corner right there. And he's 6 to 8 inches tall, and he's black like this. We have this same tea light on. He's black like this. He's not like a shadow. And he dwells outside. I'm sorry?
6 to 8 inches. I'm just trying to-
Sorry, feet.
Feet,
6
okay.
No, he's 6 to 8
Okay.
inches from the ceiling.
Sorry.
In this
I-
corner here,
Yes.
do people get a lot of cold spots like and stuff over here?
People have felt things lift them up, like on the floorboard, like something lifted up. That's what I've heard. But no, it's 6 to 8 inches from the ceiling is
Okay,
how
thank
tall he is, not 6 to 8 inches tall. He has touched women inappropriately. He has started people's cars. He's set people's alarms off. He's pressed the brake light in. And then you go, did y'all hear a knock?
I thought I just
I'm not
heard
sure
like
if
a
this
laugh.
is clicking, maybe I'm.
Yeah, that's clicking right there. So,
I thought I just heard a ha 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 ha.